Hi there, here's a thought. Little by little, we let go of loss, but never of love. Author unknown. And so, it's Valentine's Day, and I know you know. How could you not? Really. I also know it's a day that a lot of people look down their noses at, and that's okay too. Sure, it's what they call a Hallmark holiday. But if you want to mark it, who does it hurt? If you're like me, it mattered most when we were kids. Of course, this was before everybody got a Valentine out of kindness and compassion for those of us who could count the ones they received on one hand and maybe have a finger left over. Oh, but when I was a teenager, I spotted and excitedly clipped out an ad of the Toronto Star, barely bigger than a postage stamp, from their paid Valentine's classified section. Do you remember that? It was from his name to Erin. Now, although it was my boyfriend's or would-be boyfriend's name, he definitely had not taken out that ad for me. But I held on to that tiny clipping as if he had written it. Hey, a girl can dream. And for all I know, it's all yellowed and tucked into the bottom folds of a long-ignored box somewhere in this house. Of course, today, paying for a message in a newspaper, well, that's about as relatable as putting a note on the foot of a carrier pigeon. I can tell you now, though, that I did run into that former Valentine during an event when Morning Has Broken came out in February 2019. I didn't notice him in line to get my book signed until In My Life, the song by the Beatles, which just happened to be one of our songs, came on in the store, and somebody piped up, "Hey, who's picking the music?" Well, I looked up and I couldn't believe my eyes. And I have to confess, I wasn't totally present for the person who was standing right in front of me and had bravely ventured out in the midst of a raging snowstorm. But this man was someone I had hoped to run into for nearly 40 years since our relationship ended. Maybe a school reunion? No. At a dedication at my high school's Wall of Fame? Just anywhere to see how life had treated him and how much he'd changed. I mean, aren't we all curious about how those high school sweethearts aged? I don't think I even noticed what 40 years had done to or for him when we met that day in the bookstore and caught up a bit later on when I was on a break. Although, as you well know, I am very happily and terminally married. I don't always wear my rings for these, but you never forget your first love. There's something else, though, that I remember from that day. Besides the Beatles coming on in the store, there was one more nudge from chance. As we said our goodbyes back in the bookstore, I leaned in for a hug and spotted this over his shoulder. Yes, the author's name, except for the middle initial, is Lauren Davis, the same as our late daughter's. The person whose passing and the lessons that came with it brought about this whole book signing business to begin with. Do I think Lauren brought us together that day? Oh, no, absolutely not. She was saying, "Mom, I see you. Sit down and behave yourself, will you?" That's the thing about Valentines. We remember the ones we got, the ones we didn't, and then there are the ones who really had our hearts but are no longer here, always with us, keeping a watchful eye and sending not flowers, but occasional messages of love, support, and flicks upside the head to remind us they're there and to be good. They are here. I know it in my heart. You have a gentle day, and I'll be back with you here on Thursday. Lots of love.